Good morning, my beautiful people who have found this message. I ask that if you have found this, that it is absolutely for you and that there's something here for you. And I ask that only divine love and light is allowed into this space. So, while I was setting up, I was getting a very clear message, which was confirmed when I pulled this reflection card here. But the message was that our collective has officially moved through the conflict with others stage. So some of us have really been fighting 1 to 2 year cycle battles to do with our careers, our finances, our relationships, our home life. And we've been sensing that, the dust is settling in regards to these situations. And now we turn our attention inward and we recognize that the war we were up against with others is now against ourselves. And what I get with this is that a lot of us have been traumatized by what's happened. Not necessarily what's happened to us, but maybe who we've had to become through this journey. And we're at a crossroads now where we have to be able to forgive ourselves in order to move forward with that light, playful energy, and to actually enjoy this journey and this path. And it's really hard when we've been hurt, when we've been scarred, to forgive, to move forward. And I just think what I'm hearing is we've seen ugly parts of ourselves that maybe we hadn't had to see for a long time. Maybe certain things, patterns of how we respond to traumatic situations, to struggles and challenges, maybe they've arisen again and we've seen these uglier parts of ourselves, even if that's just in the way that we talk to ourselves, see ourselves. I've been getting a lot of comparison this morning, we might be comparing ourselves to others. We might just be really unsure of where we're moving now. And I think the message here, what I've been getting so far, and we'll obviously get into the tarot, but what I've been getting is that we're being asked, do you possess the vulnerability now to move forward without understanding the full picture, putting ourselves out there in ways where we don't see the end result, we don't know if it's something we actually want to commit to. Are we willing to try new things regardless of the outcome? And actually that was coming through the other day as well. But are we going to be able to move forward without the outcome being super clear? So for example, let's say you wanted to start putting yourself out there online or something like that. But you're not sure what you actually want to do. This could also just be any kind of job or role or getting back out into dating or whatever. Are you willing to be who you are right now as you move forward? Or are you still waiting to be this perfect version of yourself? Because I sense that I'm talking to a collective who has masked a lot, or who has waited to undertake certain paths or whatever when they're when they truly feel ready to, when they feel very confident that it's needed, like that they are needed, because this all comes back to like a fear of abandonment. So you're being challenged at this time to try things in a new way. Um, as we have entered the fire horse year, regardless of when you're seeing this energy is potent here. So can you, and I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe you feel a little bit upset on how this time frame has kind of began, right? Like you might feel like you were waiting for this moment, whatever this means for you. Like you thought that as you closed out this cycle, things would be a lot easier and you'd be very confident and ready and rearing to go and, you know, running forward like a fire horse, you know. But I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles and I'm seeing the practical side of a horse and the practical side of achieving goals. Like the Knight of Pentacles is very much slow and steady. And I actually went and I went to a petting zoo the other day, and like just to feed some goats and like be around nature. And there were these horses there, but my husband and I were hanging out with this horse and he looked so upset. And I don't know, I feel like there's so many reasons why that horse was probably upset, you know. But for me, it was just a symbol of like the weight that horses carry. I don't know if that even makes sense. Maybe we'll get more information, but we just assume that a fire horse is going to be rearing and running. But I sense that the horse is also very grounded and almost needs to let that energy gather and gather and build momentum and build momentum and build momentum until it's time to go. And I'm also getting like there are phases with the horse where it's going to slow and steady climb up that mountain, you know, with the Knight of Pentacles. And then there's those times when the energy gains momentum and we have to run forward, right? So, yeah, and I'm actually now seeing, I want to get the Moonology deck out because, just hold on 1 minute. I'm just going to skip to when I find that deck. Okay, I found the Moonology deck. And I also just, in my drawer, I found the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And I just loved that this card was on the top. Go the distance. Yeah, it feels super relevant here. It's like we need to cultivate a certain type of emotional underpinning. We need to cultivate certain thoughts and feelings. And I think a lot of that before we can really, you know, if we want to go the distance. But, you know, a lot of that I'm getting has to do with our ability to be vulnerable at this time, our ability to put ourselves out there in new ways, regardless of previous chapters, and actually be able to see ourselves in a really beautiful light, seeing ourselves as people who can really share our gifts confidently and be who we are confidently, regardless of the kind of response we get. Because I'm getting that through this, like this is really what we're being guided to do, because through this process, we are going to see, kind of being able to test the waters. We're going to be able to see where we're meant to be, right? Sometimes it just takes some time to see where we're needed, to see where we want to actually be, especially when so much has been cleaned away. If we can very consistently show up for ourselves without fear of judgment, without fear of it being embarrassing because we decide to change, we decide to pivot, that's going to get us to where we want to be. And it's different for everyone, right? But yeah, I'm just gonna be putting down the mic while I shuffle the cards. So bear with me, but I want to get a Moonology card to start with. So we have luck is on your side when I split the deck. And it's time to release negativity. So this really works with what I'm saying here around being able to not think about everything that didn't go right, but hold on to that imagination and the hope and the gratitude for what can go right. Absolutely, look at that. Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius here. We have a personal issue reaches resolution. Confidence is your key to success. And have faith in your dreams. Wow. Yeah, so this is already expanding upon what we're talking about here. So this reflection card that I grabbed says we should not blame other people for failing to know us as we want to be known. They are not tragically inept. No one properly and entirely understands, and therefore no one can fully sympathize with anyone else. So what I'm getting here is comparison to others and maybe previous cycles where you've tried to, be seen certain ways, be accepted. This is something that happens a lot with artists and creators. We're all creators, so this really is relevant for everybody. But, people that are wanting to be seen for who they truly are. But, again, coming back to this example of wanting to put yourself out there online in some way, share your craft, share something. But again, it can be to do with jobs, whatever. In previous cycles, we have tried to be ourselves, but seen that when we can kind of tweak who we are in front of certain groups of people, it's more appreciated potentially. Like you haven't been completely loved and respected for who you are authentically. And you're seeing now that you really want to live in your truth and be very authentic because you know that that's the path of least resistance. And so this is why these situations have been closing out for you, okay? These arguments with others, this war with other, because it's given you this new level of self-determination through the process of needing to fight to be seen and heard as who you are. And so you're being encouraged to really go the distance. Okay, we have lions, we have cheetahs, very confident animals here that know that they sparkle, know that they shine, and aren't paying attention to how everybody else is perceiving it. And what I'm really getting here is being yourself without validation, truly just being your authentic self before the clapping, before people acknowledge it, before people notice it, okay? Really just getting into the practice of the feeling of doing like living in your truth and in your authenticity and sharing yourself in vulnerable ways, without fear of, abandonment. This really also like can come back to childhood a lot for people, right? Like just really trying to be our authentic selves, without fear that it's not going to be accepted. And with what this new thing that you're wanting to move towards, you're being encouraged to have faith in these visions, even if they change every single day, even if you really don't know kind of what path is going to take you where you want to be and how you can see it. But it's kind of knowing that no matter what path you take, when you are confident that you're being led exactly where you need to be, that it's going to lead you to the same place. That's really beautiful. I'm getting a lot of divine love coming through. Okay. All right, so we're going to clarify with some tarot here. I'm really getting a message here that you should pay attention to when you are jealous of other people at this time, when you're angry at other people at this time, when you're comparing yourself. Spirit's asking you to reframe that into a remembrance that to a certain extent this has to do with yourself. I think that the veil is really lifting at this time and you are seeing your reflection in others. And so pay attention to what you really admire in others and what annoys you. Try and bring it back to self at this time. We had the 6 of Cups coming through and the 5 of Wands. So childhood and conflict. Again, there's the 6 of Cups. We have the Ace of Pentacles coming through. Okay. Let's see what else we can get. So I'm really getting that for this collective, there's been a survival mode for quite a long time where we haven't really been in the energy of seeing ourselves as the star, seeing ourselves as a guiding light, as an inspiration. And the reason I think this is coming up, right, is because this is actually a part of our life path here, is to be seen, loved. I mean, everyone is, right? But I think there's some sort of gift that you want to share and you want to inspire and uplift others in your unique way. And there has been a period here of not feeling seen, validated, or heard. And what I'm getting here is that whilst you thought that this change was going to come through quite loud, right? Which it might, it probably will. It's going to when it's the right time, but it's not necessarily right now. Right now, what you're being asked to focus on is going the distance, slow and steady, but working with this energy of confidence, of ultimate self-love. This is when your judgment is going to come through. And what I'm getting with this actually is that if you just blew up overnight, if you just landed straight into that job or into that relationship right now, it could not last, because what we're building right now is momentum in stable things that are long term. because in the past things have just kind of fallen into place for us, right? There's been certain cycles where things just happen, right? This cycle is about, as we are entering, the year of the fire horse. Again, doesn't matter when you're seeing this, but this 1-0 energy, the beginning. Okay, the beginning, the start. Things aren't just here for a quick cycle and then they're gone. Well, we're truly being asked to take very, I'm not even getting calculated steps. I'm actually getting just living in our authenticity and just flowing and not paying attention to the results right now. Just getting used to practicing and navigating this energy of working towards things for the long term without knowing where they're going to take you. But really embodying this confidence, that is when the trumpets are going to blow and you're going to really see some major changes in your life. What I'm getting with the 7 of Swords in reverse is, it's actually quite an interesting read I'm getting from this today. It's that the more that we, and I'm not saying it's easy, okay, to do this. And you know what? I'm actually getting that the star in reverse here is for the personal issue. You're starting to see what you can actually provide to the world. And I think it's coming through in this way of frustration, because you're like, why can no one see me? Why am I finding it so hard to express myself? Why am I not finding my people that are actually going to back me up on this journey, to support me through this transition, and to actually gas me up and tell me you're amazing, why is the money not here? Why am I not getting the opportunities that I feel like I'm ready? I've really worked through this personal issue of not feeling worthy enough. You're getting to this point of frustration, and that's actually showing you your worth, my darling. Yeah. Before you were mourning how other people are letting you down, and now you're mourning how you're letting yourself down. It might still be manifesting through, why aren't people seeing me? Why aren't people hearing me? But the truth is that that's you fighting for yourself. That's you fighting to be because you know that you have something to offer this world, right? And I think that you should trust that. I think that you should trust this confidence brewing that might come from frustration and anger of being why am I not being seen? Why am I not getting those opportunities? At the core level, that means that you have something to offer and give, right? And yeah, I think that this is very true. We should not be blaming other people for not understanding us how we want to be understood, because no one completely understands, and they don't even understand themselves. So this is really about understanding yourself. And I get here that as you really have faith in yourself and what you have to offer before the applause, right? It really reminds me of a card in my oracle deck, which I might pull from in a minute. But yeah, when you're able to reframe and see your gifts for what they are before anyone else can see them, that actually gives you the upper hand. When you can have faith when no one else is trying to build your faith up for, this is a personal journey, and somewhere along the way this collective has equated reassurance from others as a sign to move forward. But you're really being called to build up your inner confidence and your personal conviction, regardless of what everyone else thinks about it. That's big. That's really nice. Okay. This is beautiful here. Just paying attention to what else I can see here. Okay. So with Go the Distance, we've got the Ace of Cups. So this message is saying that as you go the distance and as you continue to walk with blind faith, walk forward without knowing where it's taking you, without getting the recognition early on, but you just consistently show up. You consistently show up and you focus on how you're living your everyday, right? That is when this beautiful bundle I'm hearing of opportunities is going to meet you all at once. I'm getting as well. It's like as you reach a certain milestone here, and it could be completely in the unseen, like it could be completely when you really show yourself that following your gut and your heart takes you places. As that closes out, right? As you practice showing yourself that confidence is your key to success and that you need to see your own light for others to see it. That's when these opportunities come through. And the Ace of Cups all has to do with emotions. It has to do with creativity, relationships, intuition, messages, divine downloads. Okay, like that's when this cup pours out and you receive reciprocal attention. The attention you're giving comes back. Okay, so maybe as you close out finishing up a project, or something like that, some sort of milestone, you start to see that energy make its way back to you. And so I'm really getting that again with that Knight of Pentacles energy of just trotting up that mountain, right? Slow and steady. There's going to be an overflow. And I think it comes from you making it to some certain point and thinking, damn, I'm really glad that I started doing this thing, regardless of how people saw it, regardless of, you know, how I felt about it, regardless of how much like time I wasted on everything that no one saw. It's never a waste, okay? And I get for you that there's going to be a pinnacle moment where everything starts coming and flowing again. And yeah, it's about patience here. It really is. Wow. Okay. I'm going to, I wanted to, put down the Page of Swords. Actually, you know what? That's so insane because I've also got the Page of Swords on the top of this deck here. Wow. That is so beautiful. Yeah. I think with Show the World the Real You and the Page of Swords, I'm getting a lot of you are wanting to share your unique perspective, your voice. And this can come through writing, it can come through art, it can come through music, it can come through any kind of communicative role, if you're part of a team. But it's about sharing your truth through your unique vision. And with Aquarius, I'm getting that you see things in a very unique way. And now, like, my iPad's dinging and dinging. It's almost like things click in people's brains when you share your vision. And I think it's because your worldview is very complex, and you've really gone through a lot, and that gives you this beautiful like interpretation and expression. And yeah, and I'm getting again, like with the Page here of Swords, that the Page of Swords is eager, willing, and ready to start without having all the answers. And that's really confirming what I said at the beginning here. Willing to look like a fool, willing to just be themselves, without fear of being condemned for that, without fear of having all the answers, but just starting. That's the energy, that playful, childlike energy that isn't afraid of getting it wrong, but is just walking in their authenticity and playing along the way. That's the energy that you're being guided to be walking through right now. And that's so beautiful. I love that so much. Yeah. And I get that there's a lot of choices here, and you might really feel stuck with what choice to make, what path to take. And that's actually a beautiful thing. Like, you have so much to offer the world, and so you don't know where to begin. And I really feel like we've been getting so far, it's about just taking the steps without having all of the answers, and trusting that when you live in your truth and in self-love and in self-worth, confidence, when you can turn this star upright and see yourself as a star before others do, all paths lead you home. I love that. Okay, let's close out with a card from my deck. I'm really, really, oh my God, the fire just burned me. Ow. I'm really, really, and you might feel encouraged to write some goals down or some stuff that you want to manifest, okay? And set that on fire in a safe way, in a, somewhere where you can practice burning fire safely. Use your discernment there, but you might feel called to that this time. You might have fire as a significant element in your chart. But yeah, I'm really getting that here. Okay, so let's get you a card to close out this reading today. Okay, we have good luck on the bottom, which is a little nod from spirit saying you are taking that journey to a new reality. So you are divinely protected and guided through this process. We have growth spurt, and we also have destiny here. So this is, again, confirmation for me. You are being led down the path of your destiny, and you are currently undertaking a period of a massive growth spurt. So I'm going to read this card, and then we'll close out for today. So yeah, again, this is in my Oracle deck, which will be out soon. When it is, I'll put it in the description. But growth spurt. I'm really getting just do especially just any kind of hobbies, anything that lights you up at this time, really make time for them. Just try and enjoy and play, right? And see what comes from that. Okay. Growth isn't always glamorous or linear. It's often maddening, uncomfortable, and slow. Like the aching stretch of a limb that's been asleep. It stings before it strengthens. It moves in cycles. This card invites you to honor the in-between, the sacred cocoon where the old version of you dissolves so the new one can emerge. Inside the cocoon, things fall apart on purpose. Within it, the caterpillar becomes liquid, breaking itself down so something new can form from the same material. I'm going to skip through a little bit here. Growth isn't about discarding who you were. It's about reprogramming what's already within you. The raw material of your past, the lessons, the heartbreaks, the mistakes, becomes the nutrient-rich soup that feeds what comes next. I just want to make sure you can see that. Nothing is wasted. Your instincts, memories, and essence remain, reshaped to support your next form. Magic isn't separate from biology, it's woven through it. You are nature reorganizing itself, consciousness evolving in real time. Every discomfort, every delay, every stretch of solitude is evidence that your system is rewiring its code. You don't need to force the timeline, trust the reconfiguration. Let life rebuild you from the inside out. Not everyone is meant to witness this stage. Some will support your evolution, others may resist it. That's not your burden. People often fear what they don't understand, especially when your growth mirrors the healing they've postponed. Let that be theirs to carry. You don't have to rush. You are allowed to outgrow timelines, roles, expectations, and relationships that no longer match your rhythm. When your inner world is shifting, you owe no one the performance of stability. Allow the shedding, allow the solitude, and when you're ready, re-emerge, not as who you were, but as who you're becoming. And the affirmation is, I allow the mess, the silence, the stretch. I grow in my own time. Yeah, and I think you'll see that you've actually been an inspiration the whole time, right? But a lot of people don't share that, okay? We might be feared that we're not understood, right? But we also fear that people aren't going to share when they understand us, or that we are like, that verbal affirmation that we are, what we are providing is respected. Like, you might even just be wanting some thank yous. You might even just be wanting people to validate you. But again, can you do this without looking to others to continue to motivate you to move forward? Can you do this for yourself? Can you motivate yourself and love yourself without fear of being mocked, without fear of being misunderstood, without, this is about you and your inner child and the growth that's coming for you and for your life. Okay. Wow. Get a number for you here. 8. Sorry, that's 7. Interesting that I saw. Okay. I'm getting that you're moving towards 8. Spirit's guiding you towards 8, which is about abundance, long-term fulfillment, okay? Closing out cycles and the flow, just being in flow. You might be seeing 888s, 777s. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really hope this resonated. Please, if you want to be a part of this small little community, we have I think we have 80 subscribers right now. So if it resonated, subscribe if you want, leave a comment. I'm so down to chat. But yeah, no matter what, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I love you so much. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I've got my little mic on a card. Okay, bye.